Believe it or not, next week will mark the one-year anniversary of the explosion aboard the Deepwater Horizon oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. That explosion and the subsequent oil spill in the Gulf marked one of the largest environmental disasters in American history. For months, the public was riveted by the ongoing drama in the region. But as the months passed and the leak was finally capped, all too many lost interest and forgot about the very real challenges that remain. First, there is the issue of making the people of the Gulf Coast whole again. The oil spill continues to have a tremendous impact, not only on the local environment, but on the livelihoods of those dependent on the tourism, seafood, and energy industries. Yet the government has dragged its feet in allowing injured parties to receive compensation from those responsible for the spill, for the huge losses that many suffered. While we at CFIF believe that the government must be vigilant in protecting against fraudulent claims, we also recognize that those whose way of life has been threatened through no fault of their own deserve restitution, and we call on the government to urgently right this wrong. Of course, there's also the issue of energy production in the Gulf. Unlike the elites in Washington, those of us who live in the region saw the oil spill for what it was, a tragic accident, not a mandate to take a huge swath of America's domestic energy resources offline. Halting oil exploration in the Gulf because of one disastrous spill doesn't make any more sense than ending air travel because of one plane crash. Yet the Obama administration has consistently stood in the way of developing our oil resources in the Gulf, and much of the hardware that was being used in the region has now gone overseas. At a time when gas prices are soaring and the Gulf desperately needs the economic growth that would come from energy exploration, this is a foolish and dangerous policy, and it needs to end immediately. A year ago, President Obama was missing in action when this part of the country needed him most. There's no way for him to right that wrong now, but he can stand up for the people of the Gulf by ensuring that we experience the full recovery that we deserve. We're waiting, Mr. President, and the entire nation will take note of whether you deliver. That's this week's Freedom Minute.